Hey guys, welcome back to Trainer TV. Today I have the long-awaited Bunnelby deck profile for you guys. Alright guys, with the loss of Lysander's trump card, mill decks have been kind of a popular exploration that many players have been trying to accomplish. And once I tried to do it at League, I got many comments from you guys saying, hey, show us a deck profile, or hey, how do I play this Bunnelby card? So that is what I'm bringing you guys today, and I hope you guys enjoy. Now I'll go through this deck profile with 4 versions of the deck. Yes, 4. And there are many other options out there. So what I want you to do is basically watch this video. I will give you a basic outline of milling, and then you guys take it from there and let me know what you guys find out for yourselves. Alright guys, first things first, let's look at the Bunnelby that we are talking about today. He has an ancient trait Barrage, which allows him to attack twice in a turn. Now this is great for both of his attacks. Burrow is his first attack. For 1 colorless, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. That means with his ancient trait, you can do that twice. So 1 turn, just with Bunnelby, you are discarding 2 cards from your opponent's deck. Now, I will tell you guys right away, Bunnelby is not the most competitive deck whatsoever. Like, he is a great League deck and a great troll deck. I personally might bring him to a tournament just because I think it's fun to see what I discard out of my opponent's deck while he's sitting there in frustration. But that's just me. I know, I sound like a horrible person. Anyways, his second attack, Rototiller, shuffle a card from your discard pile into your deck. Now, many Bunnelby decks do go fast. So this is a great way to stop you from decking out yourself. So those are his 2 attacks. He's a great Pokemon. The downside is his retreat cost, but it's not a huge downside, as you will be pretty much being knocked out every turn once your opponent gets set up. So just keep that in mind. Alright guys, now the biggest thing to keep in mind as we go into these first 4 Bunnelby deck profiles is you will not draw a prize card. Yep, that's right, you will not draw a single prize. This may sound weird for most of you, but just go along with me. When you build your decks, this is not, when you look at the screen here, this is not a deck put together. These are many different card options that I'll talk about. But when you build your deck, you're going to have more than 1 copy of a card, just because there's a chance that it'll be prized. Alright guys, so let's get into the 4 ways to play Bunnelby. Number 1, this is Bunnelby Malamar. Now, I will give credit to Little Dark Fury for this deck. This is a deck that I have come across in my research of playing Bunnelby. So go check out his video for a full outline of how he plays. But basically what he does is he plays Dark Energy with his Bunnelby, and he uses Hyper Hypnosis. When you attach an energy from your hand to this Pokemon, you may use this ability. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. So he uses things like lasers and hammers and Malamars to kind of really stall out. So his Bunnelby is using the Burrow attack, twice, but he's hopefully getting his opponent asleep along the way. So, there's the chance that his opponent flips tails and Bunnelby has an extra turn to live and use 2 more Burrow attacks. Now, he does pair this with, and I don't have it on here, let me go put it in real fast. Alright, so he does pair this Malamar with Shadow Circle. So each Pokemon that has a Dark Energy attached to it has no weakness. So this is great for Bunnelby because there are a lot of fighting decks out there, and fighting is Bunnelby's weakness. However, I do not see this as the strongest build because Bunnelby only has 60 HP and he will be knocked out. And this will come to the way I play later on, so keep this in mind. All right, another card that Little Dark Fury put in his deck profile is Evilite, which basically just reduces the damage by 20 to whatever Pokemon this card is attached to. He pairs this with other things like Jamming Net to do another 20. So basically, they'd have to do 100 damage to knock out Bunnelby. Still, they can accomplish that fairly easy with a lot of the cards that are out there. So I don't see this as the greatest focus for the deck. All right, Bunnelby build number 2. Now this goes to a PokeTuber, Handsome Monkey. I have thought about this, but I saw his profile on YouTube as well, so I want to give him credit. Basically, I will be the third Bunnelby deck profile I've seen, and the only one that has another unique strategy other than stalling. So what Handsome Monkey does is what I personally call the Seismitoad build. So he uses a Pokemon called Crawdaunt, and so when you play Crawdaunt from your hand to evolve that Corphish, you discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So this second build is more of, hey, I'm going to remove all my opponent's energy so that I can live longer so he can attack. So of course you're going to use your crushing hammers, your enhanced hammers, and your head ringers for those Pokemon EX. This is a great stall as well. This is stronger in my opinion than Little Dark Fury's, just because it's more consistent getting all that energy away. He can use stuff like Super Scoop Ups or Scoop Up Cyclone as well, so that you can bring those Crawdaunt back to your hand and play them down again. So really fun, really great build, guys. And what he does, so he has the Bunnelby and the Crawdaunt. You can throw a Malamar in there too when you're playing your dark energy. So you can kind of blend the first two builds together to make a stronger deck. All right, guys, this brings us to the third way to build the Bunnelby deck, and one of my favorites, which is using Bunnelby Ninjask. Wing Buzz is Ninjask ability, so when you discard a card from your hand, your opponent discards the top card of their deck. So this is really awesome, especially since he has a free retreat. You can switch him out with another Ninjask and do it again. Now this becomes really powerful once you have that execute in your discard pile with propagation. So basically you're just bringing him to your hand every turn, using Wing Buzz, discarding him to discard the top card of your opponent's deck, so that you don't have to waste any cards from your hand that you might need. So he just bounces from the discard to your hand and then back to the discard using that Ninjask ability. It's a great card. Now I will put a little side note here that maybe there's a way to stall without using Bunnelby and just pure like 4/4 Ninjasks with a lot of switches, which I do play in here. Is switch and escape rope are very important in this Bunnelby Ninjask build. Other things I use in both number 3 and number 4 way is Life Dew. So what Life Dew does, if this Pokemon, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. So guys, that is what I do with Life Dew. Just attach him over here to the Bunnelby. So when he is knocked out, my opponent just doesn't get to draw that prize card. It's really annoying for them, especially when I'm discarding cards from their deck, and they don't get that, you know, great feeling of knocking out a Pokemon and drawing a prize card because they can't draw the prize card. Things I also use with this build is Robo Substitute. He's just a great staller. If you need to retreat your Ninjask and you don't have a Bunnelby out to throw up with the energy, you can throw up a Robo Substitute and kind of just stall for a turn, allowing your opponent to draw an extra card for their turn. Not an extra card, but drawing that card for their turn, and just that's 1 less card in their deck. Another thing to pair with Bunnelby would be the revives. So right when he's knocked out, you can put him right back onto your bench. And I'm still playing with this revive card, so we'll see how the new deck does with it. Another thing that I want to mention real fast is Lysander. Hopefully your opponent drops something onto their bench that's big, that doesn't have the energy, that has a lot of retreat cost in it, and you can just Lysander it up and stall a few other turns. So guys, I'm giving you a bunch of little options. I'm just throwing stuff at you. So hopefully you guys are getting kind of the feeling of how to stall, or how to bring your Bunnelbys out, and kind of formulating your own plan for your Bunnelby decks. And this will bring us to the fourth way to play Bunnelby, and the one I'm really trying to perfect right now. And that's Bunnelby Milotic, or however you want to say it, because there's different ways. And basically his ability, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put a card from your discard pile back to your hand. Guess which one I'm going to grab? Not Bunnelby, but Life Dew. Alright, so Bunnelby's knocked out. They both go to the discard pile. I probably have another Bunnelby ready to go with it, 1 energy. And so I throw down a Milotic, and Life Dew's back in my hand. No more prize cards for my opponent, right? So you are going to play him with super scoop ups, just to make sure you can do that as often as you can. Alright guys, and this brings us to the new way of playing this deck, which does not include Bunnelby, and that is Absol, or Mega Absol I should say, EX, with Disaster Wing. Now this one is going to play a whole lot different than any of the Bunnelby builds, because you are focusing on trying to attack in this one. With Bunnelby, you already know you're not drawing prize cards, so you're not doing any damage. This one, you're doing damage. Disaster Wing, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. If that card is a trainer card, this attack does 80 more damage. Alright, so this pairs well with another card that I do play in my two, number 3 and number 4 ways of playing Bunnelby, and that is Trick Shovel. This is my favorite card to put in Bunnelby decks, as well as Absol decks. Look at the top card of either player's deck. Your opponent you may discard that card or return it to the top of the deck. Alright guys, when you play Trick Shovel in the Bunnelby builds, you will always choose to discard the card. This is not always the case in the Mega Absol build. For Mega Absol, if you use Trick Shovel, you see the top card of your opponent's deck. If it's a trainer card, you're going to leave it, so that you can do the extra 80 damage, equaling 160 for that turn. Now in Mega Absol, you can play like Muscle Band, so you could do, instead of 160, 180, which will knock out pretty much every single basic Pokemon EX. So great card, especially paired with that Trick Shovel. Play around with Absol. He is a really fun Pokemon. Maybe pair it with the Malamar. Maybe try the Crawdaunt build. Maybe even the Ninjask build would go great with it. Alright guys, so let me know what you guys come up with. Definitely leave a comment below. And just a quick note before we wrap this up. Ancient Origins. What cards from there will go well in here? I'm not sure yet. I know for one, it's going to be the Eco Arm, which can put tools from your discard pile back into your deck. This is if you're not playing Milotic, and you still want to use Life Dew. Even though Life Dew is going out of rotation. So keep that in mind, that once Life Dew leaves, hopefully another card comes in that does a similar effect, where your opponent can't draw a prize card. But if not, then I definitely go with that second way, that Seismitoad build. Alright guys, that's it for the Bunnelby deck profile. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave the thumbs up if you want to troll your opponent using these new strategies. And I will see you guys next time on Trainer TV. Remember, train on. Yeah.